August the 10th, 2025. Guys, you're looking at a picture of Texas Governor Greg Abbott. This is in an interview on Fox News, and it's talking about the Democrats and them fleeing Texas and all of that. What he's saying here is very interesting because he's now saying that, and he's getting a lot of flack from different Democratic governors around the nation that they're going to do the same type of redistricting. Like I said earlier, they've already done it to death. There's not much left for them to do. And what they are attacking, especially people like Jasmine Crockett out of Texas, is the fact that they are taking away the Latino and black votes. But actually what Greg Abbott is explaining here, that the Latinos and the blacks are sick of the Democrats and their open border policies ruining everyone's lives and jobs. So they're not alienating anyone. And most of those districts are heavily Latino in Texas that they're talking about. But he explains here, they've had enough of these idiots and demons. Anyway, guys, watch it, enjoy it. Of course, we're going to keep an eye on it, but this is a kind of an eye-opening video. We know what's going on. We've been watching it very closely on this channel, but this is a very good cap to the week, and to listen to what he has to say about what's going to happen to the Dems when they come back to Texas, if they come back. It's a heads up, guys. Watch the video.
Joined by Texas Republican Governor Greg Abbott. Welcome back to the show. Governor, good to see you.
You too, Shannon. Thanks.
So let's talk about some of these leaders who've left Texas. They say they're not on the run. They're not hiding. They're out doing media appearances. And part of what they want to do is to encourage the comments like you heard there from Governor Gavin Newsom. Here's your Texas State Rep, Ron Reynolds.
We got to change the rules of engagement and not allow President Trump to continue to have us bringing knives to gunfights. So if it's good for the goose, it's good for the gander. We will do whatever it takes for however long it takes.
So, Governor, how long could this take? When do you launch the next special election? When do you expect some answers from the courts you've petitioned there in Texas?
So first, this could literally last years because in Texas, I'm authorized to call a special session every 30 days. It lasts 30 days. And as soon as this one is over, I'm going to call another one, then another one, then another one, then another one. If they show back up in the state of Texas, they will be arrested and taken to the Capitol. Now, if they want to evade that arrest, they're going to have to stay outside of the state of Texas for literally years. And they might as well just start voting in California or voting in Illinois, wherever they may be. And that will aid and support the lawsuit that I filed in the Texas Supreme Court saying that these lawmakers have abandoned their seat because we are incapable of conducting business for the people of Texas because they have fled. This is the most un-Texan thing we've ever seen. In Texas, from the time of the Alamo until today, Texas stand and fight. What these cowards did, they didn't stand and fight. They fled and went to leftist blue states that may be more aligned with their personal philosophy that is not welcome in the state of Texas.
So you talk about the legal action there and the petition with the Texas Supreme Court. Now, back in 2021, the Texas Supreme Court did hold that your state constitution does recognize this quorum breaking by the minority can happen. So how do you now expect to convince them that these folks have abdicated or abandoned their seats?
What you said. It did have a sentence in there that said that the way the Constitution works enables a quorum break, but it didn't authorize it. Let me give you an easy example. An interstate highway enables you to be able to drive 100 miles per hour on that interstate highway, but you're not authorized to do it. And if you do it, there's going to be consequences for which you could be held into court. And that's exactly what we have with the quorum break here. We have a situation where lawmakers are violating the law in Article 3 of the Texas Constitution, where they are required to act on bills because they're violating that constitutional mandate. That means they are not fulfilling their oath of office, and they can be removed from office in this legal action that I'm taking.
Okay, so our next guest, Governor Hochul of New York, has welcomed some of your members who have fled there. She is praising them. Here's a bit of what she had to say.
What Texas and Republican states are doing at the direction of Donald Trump, I say, is nothing short of a legal insurrection against our capital. Legal meaning they're using the legal process. Does not mean it's legal, and it must be stopped.
So, is there any conversation about legal liability for jurisdictions, for leaders, for other places where some of these Texans have fled?
So listen, all this big talk and bluster by Democrat governors is nothing more than weak sauce, because the fact of the matter is they are bringing a gun to a gunfight, but they have no bullets because they lost their bullets when they engaged in redistricting and gerrymandering over the past decade. They have, because if you look at what the way lines are drawn in California, in New York, in Illinois, Massachusetts, where there are no Republicans whatsoever, they've run out of Republicans that they can move out of office. If Texas had drawn our lines mathematically the same way that California had, we would be not adding 5 more seats. We would be adding 10 more seats. And if you look at all the Republican states across the entire country, if we engage in this war of making sure that each state is going to draw their lines the way that the Democrat states have, Republicans are going to be able to pick up maybe as many as 25 seats. And then I'll add on top of that, with each passing census, it's the red states that are getting the population, the blue states that are losing population. We know mathematically that New York and California, they lost seats this last census. They're going to be losing more seats in the coming censuses because people are fleeing the leftist ideology of New York, of California, of Illinois, and they're coming to free states like Texas and Florida and Tennessee and others.
So what do you say, though, to Republicans who are worried about this? There are some out there that are in blue states. They're in swing districts. They're worried about if the blue states do ramp this up, they're going to lose their seats. One of them is Congressman Mike Lawler. He's a Republican out of New York. He says it creates a situation where you're going to lose blue state members out of New York. He says it creates a situation where you're going to lose blue state members, which over the long haul are critical to keeping the majority. It's all that Lawler said, mutually assured destruction once people go full throttle. So what about those seats possibly being tanked in blue states?
Well, as you may know, the law in New York, the law in California is very different than the law in the state of Texas. In the state of Texas, all it requires is an act of the legislature to do redistricting. In both New York and California, it requires a constitutional amendment based upon constitutional standards that already exist in their state. And that's why I say what these Democrat governors are saying is a lot of bluster, because not only do they not have the ability to remove very many Republicans, they also have no legal authority to be able to get this done in time for the same election cycle that Texas will be ready.
Yeah, they do have levers, but and we'll talk about with Governor Hochul about that, they do have time limits on when they can do these things. So there are procedures in place, and we'll talk about that with the governor. But I want to play something by Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett. She used to serve there in the state legislature in Texas, now a rep here in Washington. She says this is about race. Here's what she says.
Right now, African Americans are only going to have 1/5 of the voting power that they should have in the state of Texas under this map. And we know that our Latino brothers and sisters will only have 1/3 of the voting power. And frankly, Asians, which tend to be one of the fastest growing demographics in the state of Texas, have literally no power.
So what about that accusation?
Well, first of all, it would not be a day that ends in the letter Y if Jasmine Crockett didn't say something racist. But second, her facts are wrong, because the facts in the state of Texas are, under the maps that we are drawing, is that 4 of the new seats will be predominantly Hispanic seats. The problem that Democrats have in the state of Texas is Hispanics, black voters, and other voters. They have learned now that the ideas that Democrats stand for are contrary to the ideas that the Hispanic community and black community stand for. They all want secure borders. They don't want men and women's sports, and they want to support law enforcement. And so what we're finding is that these Hispanics now are voting for Republicans. We saw that very prolifically in the last presidential election when Donald Trump won all 5 of the seats that we're going to be adding. So it's a proven fact that minority voters chose to vote for Trump as well as other Republicans, but they are trapped in one of these gerrymandered districts that confines it only to electing a Democrat. If the Democrats would say that they shouldn't be entitled to elect a certain member of a particular race, but instead let the voters of that district decide, regardless of their race, they're going to find that Democrats are going to lose voters and Republicans will be picking up voters.
Well, Governor, we'll watch to see for a decision from your courts there in Texas, and those continued sessions you may be calling. We'll track it all. Thanks for joining us.